So Jesus said, though I'm going, but you and I are glued to each other. So they're always going to be a part of you. So where two of you agree, and when I look at that text, something blew my mind. Scientists also discovered something not too long ago, maybe about 10 years ago or so. They discovered that the human heart has 40,000 neurons cells. 40,000 neuron cells in the human heart. Now, neuron has to do with the brain. So all the while, we've always thought that thought is only associated with the brain. But now they find out that the heart also can think. And the heart is singular in its thought. The brain is polarity, which means it has left and right. So whenever you take a difficult matter and refer it to the brain confuses you. Because one side of it is arguing, do it. The other side is saying, don't do it. But if you refer that to your heart, have you ever heard the word gut feeding? My gut feeding tells me not to do it. That's your heart. Your heart never leads you wrong. So whenever you're going to do something, you refer to your heart. Your heart will tell you, don't do it. When your heart said do it, go ahead and do it. When your heart said don't do it, but then the problem is when the heart said don't do it, we send it back to the brain. And now and then the brain begin to argue, the mind begin to argue. So even though the heart told you don't marry that man, even though he tall and handsome, even though he meets all of your physical requirements, but the first time that he asks for your hand in marriage, your heart told you no. But then you defer to the brain, and then the brain begin to argue. So one side of the brain succeeded, said, just get married to him, he will change. And then 20 years later, you have lived for 20 years in hell. And then you blame it on the kids. I'm only in this hell because of my children. And after they are all grown, all of a sudden what your heart told you from the beginning to do, now you're doing it 20 years later when you are 20 years older. So the brain and the heart, watch this, where two of you agree. I used to take it to me, myself and Pastor Goff. But that's not all what the text means. Because even when Pastor Goff and myself agree on something, there's something in his heart that I don't know that may be slightly different from our agreement. And my understanding of what we are agreeing on may be a little different from his understanding, slightly different. So what the Bible, what Jesus was saying is, when you align your mind with your heart, when the two are in sync with each other, they become as potent as a laser beam. When your mind and your heart are lined up with each other, this is what it said, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Isn't that right? And then it went on, it said, guard your heart. Why? Because out of it are the issues of life.